All right, welcome back, everybody. Ready for another deep dive?
Let's do it.
So this time we're looking into Siraheem, Chief Okoya's son.
Yeah.
There's some interesting stuff going on there after that video of him surfaced online.
Uh-oh. What happened?
Well, a video went viral showing him seemingly abusing the Naira.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, lots of debate. We got a news article from Olor Supergirl to help break it down, and a ton of social media posts to sift through. Should be interesting to see what it all tells us about celebrity culture.
Yeah. Sure.
Law enforcement, how these things play out online. For those of you who haven't seen it, the video shows Siraheem. He's dancing.
Okay.
And he has a police officer right there with him. And the officer's holding bundles of Naira, like stacks of cash. And while this is happening, he's throwing money up in the air.
Oh, so like spraying it around?
Exactly. So Siraheem, he did issue an apology on X.
Oh, he did? Okay.
He said his intentions were pure and naive.
Pure and naive.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And he also said that he wasn't aware of the implications of his actions.
I see. So what do you think about that? I mean, about his apology. What do you make of the wording pure and naive?
Well, it's kind of carefully worded, right?
Right.
It could be totally genuine. Like, oh, I messed up. I didn't get it.
Yeah, like a genuine apology. I didn't realize how serious it was.
Exactly.
Wow.
But then on the other hand, it could be seen as him kind of avoiding taking full responsibility, like focusing more on, oh, I just didn't know, rather than what I did was wrong.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's a good point. So shifting the blame almost.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have the Nigerian police stepping in.
Really?
And they did it pretty quickly.
Wow.
Yeah, federal PRO Prince Olumuyiwa Adejobi went public, named the officer.
He named the officer.
Yeah, and had him detained.
Wow.
Also issued a statement about, upholding the values of the police force.
Well, that's a pretty big statement, isn't it? Makes you think they're serious about this.
Yeah, it shows they're committed to accountability.
Right. Especially considering, Siraheem's family, they have a lot of wealth and influence.
Totally. It's a powerful message to send. But of course, social media went crazy. You know how it is.
Oh, I can imagine. So what are people saying?
Well, it's all over the place, really. You've got people making jokes.
Like what?
Oh, like, next time he throws money, I'll be there to catch it.
Ah, the classic.
But then others are seriously questioning if Siraheem's apology is even real. Like, do they believe him?
Interesting.
There are even suggestions that he should just say the money wasn't real.
Oh, to kind of get out of it.
Yeah, as a defense. It's wild.
Wow. So you've got humor mixed with a lot of skepticism.
Exactly. People are amused, but also really cynical about the whole thing. What do you think?
It is kind of fascinating, right? Like this one incident has sparked all these reactions. Makes you think, doesn't it? What does it really say about wealth and privilege in Nigeria?
It's the big question, isn't it? Is this just Siraheem, or is there something bigger going on here? Makes you wonder, right? If it wasn't filmed, if it didn't end up online,
right,
would anything have even happened?
That's what's so crazy about social media, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like suddenly everything's out in the open.
It's like this weird form of accountability.
For sure. People can speak out. They can, demand action.
Yeah. But it's a lot of pressure too, right? Like everything's under a microscope.
Absolutely. Sometimes it feels like it's more about online outrage than actually caring.
Totally.
So, we have to think critically too.
Right. Look beyond the headlines.
Exactly. Try to understand the different perspectives. Like, what's the real story here?
And speaking of perspectives, some people were commenting on more than just, Siraheem and what he did.
Oh, really? Like what?
They were talking about money in general. Like, how much influence does it really have?
It's a pretty age-old question. But this really brings it to light. And you see it right there. The Naira just being thrown around like it's nothing.
Right. And then you have the police officer right there.
Yeah.
Representing the law and...
Well, it makes you think about how power might be misused.
Yeah. It makes you think about what those officers go through when they're dealing with someone wealthy,
Right.
Do they just look the other way?
It's a tough spot.
Or are they just doing what they're told?
Yeah. It's like there's this imbalance of power you just can't ignore. And it makes you wonder how wealth, how status, affects things, even in places that are supposed to be fair.
Yeah. Like, even if the officer wasn't, like, actively part of the, Naira abuse, just him being there, holding the cash.
Right.
Adds another layer to it all.
It really does. And it brings up these bigger questions about our values,
Like, what are we saying?
When we see this kind of display of wealth, does it mean we don't care about the law as much? Or even about the Naira itself?
Yeah. And what about the people who don't have that kind of money?
Right. Does it make them feel cynical?
Yeah.
I think it's something worth considering. I mean, this whole thing, it might just seem like a little video, but it could start some important conversations.
About money, yeah.
How we see it, how we value it, how we keep people in power accountable.
All these complex dynamics, it's a lot to unpack.
It is.
But isn't that the point?
I think so.
To dig into these things that seem straightforward
And find the stuff underneath it.
All those layers. Yeah, exactly. It's like we're finding these connections, you know. Like this video, it's not just about the video.
Right.
It's about power, privilege, holding people accountable, all those big things.
It's about values. And what I find interesting is that so many people are reacting to this. The apology, the police getting involved, the whole social media thing, it's become a much bigger conversation.
You're like this mirror.
Yeah.
You know, it reflects back all these tensions and anxieties we have as a society.
Yeah, I see that.
People are looking at celebrity culture, at how wealth and power connect. I mean, it's really fascinating.
It is. Because it's not just about what happened, it's about what it tells us about ourselves, you know? Like, are we really holding everyone to the same standard? Or are things different for the wealthy and powerful?
It makes you think, are there different rules for different people?
Right. And if so, what does that say about us, about what we value?
And what about social media's role in all this? I mean, is it a good thing? Does it help?
It's a tough one because it brings things to light. It lets people speak up. But it can also be a place for, well, for a lot of negativity and judging.
So lots of questions. It's good that we're talking about it, but what's next? What do we do with all this?
That's the hard part, right? How do we move past the anger, past the memes, and actually have a real conversation, a conversation that leads to change?
Maybe that's what we need to think about. How can we use all this energy, all this attention for something good?
I think these things, when they happen, when everyone sees them, when they go viral, maybe that's what makes us stop and think. Maybe they force us to look a little deeper and actually do something.
It starts with us, right? Asking those tough questions, thinking about our own beliefs, and expecting more from those in charge and from ourselves.
Exactly.
So to everyone listening, think about this. Could this, everything we've talked about, could it be the start of a much bigger conversation about money? Power? And if so, what part will you play in it?
It's been great diving into this with you all. We hope this is giving you some things to think about. Until next time, keep asking those questions. Stay curious.
Please ensure you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you next time.
Okay.